The film opens with the commercial space tug Nostromo, carrying mineral ores and heading towards Earth. The crew is in cryostasis, asleep, and the ship appears eerily empty and quiet. This tranquility is shattered when the ship's central computer, known as Mother, detects an unidentified transmission, triggering emergency protocols that awaken the crew. The crew comprises 7 members: Captain Dallas, Executive Officer Kane, Warrant Officer Ellen Ripley, Navigator Lambert, Science Officer Ash, and Engineers Parker and Brett. As the crew gathers for breakfast, Captain Dallas goes to the computer room to communicate with Mother, the advanced operating system. Although the audience does not see the contents of Mother's message, Dallas later informs the crew that they have intercepted a distress signal of unknown origin. Company policy requires them to investigate its source. Failure to do so would mean forfeiting their shares and any profits from their mining operation. Shortly thereafter, Nostromo approaches the moon LV-426 in the Zeta-2 Reticuli system. Following a visually impressive landing sequence, the ship lands on the moon's surface. However, due to a rough landing, a breach occurs that will take at least 17 hours to repair. While the engineers remain on board to manage the repairs, Dallas, Kane, and Lambert set out to trace the mysterious transmission. As they navigate the dark, windswept landscape, they discover that the signal comes from an abandoned alien spacecraft. Upon entering it, they lose contact with Nostromo. Inside, they find themselves in an unusual corridor made of enormous bones, metal, and organic material. Kane climbs a set of stairs and encounters a large platform at its center, featuring a bizarre fossilized figure, a giant pilot fused with a strange combination of a chair and launch platform, later referred to as the space jockey. Notably, this entity has a gaping hole in its chest, a seemingly minor detail that becomes crucial as the story progresses. Back on the Nostromo, Ripley deciphers part of the transmission and identifies it as a warning signal. However, she cannot relay this information to her crewmates inside the alien ship due to lost communication caused by a windstorm. Meanwhile, Kane discovers a breach in the platform near the space jockey and eagerly descends into a cavern shrouded in blue mist, filled with numerous large egg-shaped entities, alien eggs. Despite the palpable danger, Kane's curiosity overwhelms his fear. When he touches one of the eggs, a strange creature bursts forth, breaking through his helmet and attaching itself to his face. Dallas and Lambert rush Kane back to Nostromo while he is unconscious. However, Ripley, acting as the senior officer, denies them entry based on quarantine protocols. Dallas argues fiercely against her decision. And Ash, who appears to have ulterior motives, overrides her and permits their entry, implying that he and Dallas may know more than others do. Once Kane's helmet is removed, they discover a terrifying creature, the alien facehugger, clinging to his face. In an attempt to remove it with a laser, they accidentally release its acidic blood, which burns through 3 levels of the ship. Consequently, they decide to leave the facehugger in place for fear that removing it might kill Kane. While other crew members focus on ship repairs, Ash examines Kane and the creature using X-rays and other instruments. A brief display on the screen reveals something resembling an embryo, but Ash quickly shuts it off when confronted by Ripley about his violation of quarantine protocols and disregard for command hierarchy. However, Ash evades providing any definitive answers, and his behavior becomes increasingly strange. Shortly thereafter, the facehugger is discovered lifeless on the floor. Despite Ripley's protests, Ash chooses to preserve it for research, ignoring the creature's unusual hostility. With the ship now partially repaired, the crew continues their journey to Earth. Unexpectedly, Kane regains consciousness, exhibiting some memory loss but otherwise appearing normal, albeit with an unusually intense appetite. During a final meal together before entering stasis, Kane begins to choke and convulse violently. In the midst of his seizures, a small alien creature bursts from Kane's chest, instantly ending his life. The creature quickly escapes into the depths of the ship, leaving the entire crew frozen in horror. After ejecting Kane's lifeless body into space through an airlock, the crew sets out to locate and capture the creature. Armed with tracking devices, nets, electric prods, and flamethrowers, they search throughout the ship. Ripley, Brett, and Parker track a moving signal, only to discover it belongs to the ship's cat Jones. Brett, unable to catch the cat, fails to consider that the track might mistakenly pick up the cat's movements again in the future. Consequently, Parker instructs Brett to find and capture the cat. While pursuing Jones in a landing leg compartment, Brett stumbles upon a shedskin, likely a remnant from the creature's growth phase. Moments later, a fully grown alien, the xenomorph, ambushes Brett and takes him away. Afterward, the crew deliberates their strategy to eliminate the monster, speculating that the alien may be moving through the ship's air shafts. They decide to use flamethrowers in an attempt to drive the creature toward an airlock. The ship's captain, Dallas, enters the ducts with the intention of cornering the xenomorph and forcing it into an airlock. As he makes his way through the maze of passages, he finds it difficult to track the creature, which does not appear on the movement detector. Suddenly, the xenomorph ambushes Dallas, seemingly ending his life. Realizing that the alien is systematically targeting the crew, Lambert panics and suggests they abandon the Nostromo and escape in the shuttle. However, Ripley points out that the shuttle cannot support 4 people. She remains focused on Dallas's original plan to eject the alien into space. With Dallas likely dead, leadership shifts to Ripley, who gains access to the ship's computer. While interfacing with Mother, she uncovers a chilling secret protocol known as Special Order 937. It reveals that the company secretly instructed Ash to capture the alien and return it to Earth, considering the crew expendable. Just as Ripley is processing this shocking information, she suddenly finds Ash looming over her. She confronts Ash about his hidden agenda, and their argument quickly escalates into a physical struggle. Demonstrating surprising strength, Ash nearly chokes Ripley, but Parker intervenes just in time. After striking Ash, Parker reveals the startling truth. Ash is an android. Together, Parker, Ripley and Lambert manage to subdue him. Once he is incapacitated, they reactivate his head to extract information about the xenomorph and possible ways to destroy it. Ash cryptically indicates that his main goal was to ensure the alien's survival, calling it the perfect organism and asserting that the crew stands no chance against it. Ash expresses admiration for the creature's instinctual nature, unbound by morality or conscience, and makes a joke about feeling sympathy for the crew. Ripley quickly cuts off his power, and they set the android ablaze, ultimately killing him. Determined to proceed with a new plan, Ripley, Lambert and Parker decide to activate the Nostromo's self-destruct system and escape in the shuttle. As Ripley heads to the shuttle to prepare it for launch, Parker and Lambert gather essential life support supplies. In the shuttle, Ripley notices Jones, the cat, on a tracker screen and begins searching the ship to retrieve him. While collecting what seem to be oxygen tanks, Parker and Lambert realize that the xenomorph is right behind them. Paralyzed with fear, Lambert watches as the creature overpowers Parker. The alien then seemingly shifts its deadly focus onto her. Their terrified screams echo through the radio, prompting Ripley to rush to their rescue. However, upon her arrival, she is met with the grim sight of Parker and Lambert's lifeless bodies. Overwhelmed by fear yet driven by resolve, Ripley activates the ship's emergency self-destruct system, initiating a 10-minute countdown. Carrying Jones with her, she carefully navigates the ship's corridors toward the escape shuttle. However, her path is suddenly blocked by the terrifying figure of the xenomorph. In a state of panic and desperation, she attempts to return and stop the self-destruct sequence. Unfortunately, she misses her chance, and the countdown ominously ticks down to just 5 minutes until the ship's explosion. With no other options, Ripley cautiously makes her way through the ship's corridors with a flamethrower in hand. She retrieves Jones and manages to reach the shuttle without encountering the alien. Ripley narrowly escapes the massive explosion of the Nostromo, momentarily believing she has left the horrors behind. As she prepares for cryostasis, she is startled when she sees the xenomorph on board, cleverly concealed among pipes and communication equipment due to its biomechanical design. Filled with dread, Ripley dons a spacesuit and uses gas to force the creature from its hiding place. As the xenomorph approaches her, Ripley quickly opens an airlock door. The resulting vacuum nearly sends the creature into space, but the resilient xenomorph clings desperately to the frame. It tries to escape into an engine exhaust, but Ripley ignites the engines, finally blasting the xenomorph into deep space. After recording her log entry, Ripley places Jones and herself into stasis for their journey back to Earth. And that's where the movie ends. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.